The Trump hurricane in global trade continues, and the new stop is transatlantic trade relations. The United States President's use of tariffs as a lever, in keeping with his roadmap known as Project 2025, is causing great tension, especially on the European Union front. What started with Washington's tariff hikes on steel and aluminum is now a harbinger of a trade war that could extend to European automobiles and other sectors. The European Union has witnessed many crises in its history, but the United States President's remarks that the European Union was created to rip off the United States signal an unprecedented rift in transatlantic ties.
The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
The European Union is possibly as bad as China, just smaller. Okay? It's terrible what they do to us.
We have made a decision. We'll be announcing it very soon, and it'll be 25%, generally speaking, and that'll be on cars and all of the things.
European Union, take a look at the car situation. They send the Mercedes in. We can't send our cars in. Look what they do to our farmers.
With this latest announcement, Europe is directly affected by the United States administration's decision. The 25% tariffs imposed by the United States on steel and aluminum will hurt European producers exporting around 3 billion euros of steel and around 2 billion euros of aluminum, thus affecting around 1% of total goods exports with the United States. But it will not stop there. The threat of general tariffs against the European Union and the announced trade reciprocity makes the question of how the European Union can and will react even more urgent. Let us face it, we still do not know what potential United States tariffs on European goods will look like. Would it be a general tariff or sectoral tariffs, like the recently announced tariffs on steel and aluminum? From a United States perspective, sector-specific tariffs may be more effective in weakening international competitors of American producers and creating divisions among European countries. However, if the primary objective is to raise revenue for tax reduction initiatives, a general tariff may be more attractive. So what economic leverage can the European Union use to counter the United States? What is the importance of European Union-United States trade? What awaits the transatlantic alliance in the age of Trump? For answers to our questions and more, our video begins. But first of all, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and give us a like to stay up to date with our content. Tariffs are an import tax levied by the government and paid by the companies that bring in the goods. Trump has promised to use tariffs to stimulate manufacturing in the United States, raise money, and force other countries to change policies he opposes. But there are also concerns that such measures could fuel inflation. Americans could face higher prices for goods, as businesses choose to pass on some or all of the tariffs to their customers. Despite the risks, Trump said he plans to impose a 25% tariff on goods produced in the European Union. Trump stated that European Union policies put American exporters of food products and automobiles at a disadvantage. Speaking at his first cabinet meeting on Wednesday, the United States President said he would soon announce details of the latest tariff threat. "We have made a decision, and we will announce it very soon. It will be 25%, he said. The European Union has signalled its readiness to retaliate swiftly against the new tariffs, saying it would respond absolutely and immediately to unfair trade barriers. Trump did not elaborate further, but mentioned automakers and said the tariffs would be imposed across the board. And that will apply to automobiles and all other things, he said. It is a different situation than the European Union, Canada. It is a different situation. They really took advantage of us in a different way. They do not accept our cars. They do not accept our farm products, essentially. They give all kinds of excuses why not. And we accept everything from them. And we have a deficit with the European Union of about $300 billion. The European Union was created to rip off the United States, he added. Let us be honest. The European Union was created to screw the United States. That is its purpose, and they did it well. But now I am president.
Things, and European Union is a different case than Canada, different kind of case. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way. They don't accept our cars. They don't accept essentially our farm products. They use all sorts of reasons why not.
He went on to say that he loves the European Union countries. I think I was there at some point a long time ago, but indirectly. I mean, I think quite directly too, but I love European countries. Trump's mother was born in Scotland, and his grandfather immigrated to the United States from Germany. He said he loves all countries, and then twice said that the European Union was set up to cheat the United States. Asked what he would do if the European Union retaliated, Trump said, "They cannot, they can try, but they cannot. They can retaliate, but it cannot be a successful retaliation because we would suddenly give up, we would not buy again," he added. "If that happens, we win." Trump's remarks resonated strongly with the European Union. The European Union has declared that it is ready to use its most powerful trade weapon against the United States. Agriculture Commissioner Christopher Hansen said that we have an anti-coercion tool and we have to use it. Designed in the wake of the first Trump administration, which lasted from 2017 to 2021, the bloc's trade bazooka provides for wide-ranging retaliation in response to trade discrimination, such as quotas and tariffs or restrictions on foreign investment. Bernd Lang, a generally mild-mannered German social democrat who chairs the European Parliament's International Trade Committee, said that we will not be bullied, neither with tariffs nor with threats on our legislation. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that the European Union was not created to rip off the United States. Tusk said that the European Union was founded to preserve peace, to build respect between our nations, to create free and fair trade, and to strengthen our transatlantic friendship. It is as simple as that. As can be seen from the statements, Trump has hit the European Union's heart with the threat of tariffs. If the European Union gets to the stage where it can impose retaliatory tariffs, what could be included in the list? The automotive shippers stand out on both sides. The United States is considering a retaliatory package against automakers, including German, French, Italian, Swedish, and Spanish brands. These companies rely on supply chains intertwined with the United States vehicle and automotive supply industry. If Trump imposes tariffs on German cars, the Berlin administration could push American brands in Europe and potentially impose extra duties on cars, spare parts, and pickups imported from the United States. This could reduce the competitiveness of Ford, Tesla, or GM in Europe. France, which has low automotive exports to the United States, is considering imposing barriers such as additional taxes, environmental regulations, or quotas on the activities of American carmakers in the French market. France is also proposing retaliation against the United States in agriculture and luxury goods. Italy could subject American vehicles with luxury segment models to a luxury tax, or impose additional burdens on American technology companies in the Italian market. Sweden, with Volvo in the heavy vehicle segment and both the car and truck market, could support a retaliatory decision at European Union level. This could take the form of additional regulations on American e-commerce and technology giants or restrictions on entry into the Swedish market. Agriculture and food exporter Spain could put American food products and tourism companies on its retaliation list. The European Union Commission's Anti-Coercion Instrument allows member states to take collective retaliation against potentially damaging United States actions. If the United States imposes a 25% tariff on European Union cars, the European Union could decide to impose retaliatory tariffs on American automotive, technology, agriculture, and other sectors. While this threatens an all-out trade war, European leaders have warned that they will take action if they have no other choice. Impose tariffs on products produced primarily in United States swing states, such as soybeans, bourbon, motorcycles, or orange juice. In June 2018, the European Union responded to United States Section 232 tariffs on steel and aluminum with immediate retaliatory measures in the range of 10 to 25%. If no agreement was reached, additional countermeasures would be imposed after 3 years. After an agreement was reached under former President Joe Biden, these tariffs were suspended until March 31, 2025. This means that the European Union can reimpose these retaliatory tariffs on United States exports with little delay. Europe could impose export tariffs on goods of strategic importance to the United States. In 2022, the United States relied on the European Union for 32 strategically important import products, mainly in the chemical and pharmaceutical sectors. The European Union could use this as leverage in trade negotiations. But it should be aware that the United States could potentially limit its chemical exports to Europe by doing the same. The ultimate retaliation would be a digital services tax. While the European Union had a significant surplus in trade in goods with the United States, reaching €156 billion in 2023, this was mostly offset by a significant trade deficit in services, which reached €104 billion in the same year. These service exports include information technology services, led by dominant American technology companies, which charge fees for intellectual property or financial services. Notably, the United States is the world's largest exporter of services. There is a long-held belief in Europe that Trump is just looking for a good deal. We are a bit more skeptical. It could be that the Trump administration needs additional revenue to support its tax cut plans. But it could also have something to do with weakening an economic rival. Looking at the idea of making a deal during Trump's first presidency, former European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker's promise to buy more liquefied natural gas and soybeans from the United States blocked tariffs on European automobiles. In the end, however, although European Union imports of liquefied natural gas and soybeans increased significantly, this did not really move the needle in terms of the overall goods trade surplus with the United States. Instead, the trade surplus continued to widen. Europe is unlikely to assume that Trump can be easily appeased with a few soybeans as he was in 2018. But can the European Union implement this process, or how? There are several paths the European Union could take. Last fall, we became aware of a secret list circulating in Brussels detailing possible European responses should Donald Trump win the United States elections and reintroduce tariff threats. The list remains one of Brussels' best-kept secrets, as no details have been leaked so far. Before moving on to what might be on the list, let us consider a typical European problem: how to react quickly in times of crisis. The good thing is that foreign trade is the sole responsibility of the European Commission, which legislates on trade issues and negotiates and concludes international trade agreements. But the European Union lacks a trade instrument that allows it to threaten immediate retaliation if the United States violates its World Trade Organization obligations in a non-coercive manner. Despite this secret list, the European Union may not be able to react quickly. Yes, at the end of 2023, the European Union put in place a trade bazooka, the so-called European Union Anti-Coercion Instrument (ACI). The Anti-Coercion Instrument is a new tool that the European Union has never used. The idea for the instrument emerged during the Trump administration, but was only fully developed in response to China targeting Lithuania's economy following its increased diplomatic recognition of Taiwan. The tool aims to enable the European Union to respond to a country that targets a member state and therefore seeks to undermine the single market. The instrument enables the European Union to apply a wide range of retaliatory measures, including revoking intellectual property rights that could be particularly damaging to United States technology companies in Europe. It also enables the European Union to block foreign direct investment and restrict access to banking, insurance, and other financial services. This instrument can be invoked if Trump tries to impose a tax on a particular member state, provided he gets the green light from a qualified majority of 15 of the 27 member states, representing at least 65% of the bloc's population. However, any response under the ACI would take around 8 weeks and cannot be triggered if Trump's tariffs are not punitive or if their adoption depends on policy changes by the European Union and its member states. The European Union's first challenge, then, is speed, but encouraging signals are coming from European capitals. Germany has emphasised that the bloc is ready to act within an hour if it has to. This sentiment was echoed by French Industry Minister Marc Ferracci, who called for a united and decisive European response. Even northern and central European countries traditionally opposed to tariffs have voiced their support for a coordinated European response. In an escalating trade war, the European Union will also seek to counter the United States by forming a common front with other United States allies and G7 members. On February 12, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Brussels to meet with the European Union, where trade tensions with the United States were no doubt discussed. The European Union will also seek to coordinate with other United States allies, such as Australia, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. The potential for a transatlantic trade war to have major economic consequences, and the European Union's rather strong ability to manage such a war and link it to other policy areas such as technology companies through ACI, will likely create incentives on both sides not to let a trade war get out of hand. So, what can the European Union offer Trump this time to avoid a trade war and reach an agreement? The first thing that comes to mind is more liquefied natural gas purchases. But the United States is already the European Union's largest liquefied natural gas supplier, with 40% of the European Union's liquefied natural gas imports coming from the United States in the third quarter of 2024. How much more room is there to increase these imports? Another option would be not only to increase European Union defence spending to 3% or 4% of gross domestic product, but also to commit to greater purchases of United States military products. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, the European Union currently imports 55% of its military products from the United States, a significant increase from 35% between 2014 and 2018. The European Union could also offer to lower import tariffs on United States automobiles. Tariffs on imported cars in the United States are 2.5%, while in the European Union they are 10%. So, to reach a level playing field, the European Union could offer to reduce tariffs on United States cars to 2.5%. However, in order to comply with the World Trade Organization's most favored nation concept, it would have to spread this tariff reduction to all World Trade Organization members. It is important to note that in all these cases, the European Commission has sole responsibility for trade policy negotiations, but cannot force member states to buy goods from certain suppliers. Yes, the European Union has successfully used co-procurement for COVID-19 vaccines, gas supplies, and ammunition for Ukraine, but these co-procurements take time to set up. Also, because participation is voluntary, some purchases may still fail. While the European Union is better prepared to deal with Trump 2.0, it still faces a complex challenge in countering possible United States tariffs. While the European Union has several options at its disposal, such as imposing retaliatory tariffs and a digital services tax on key United States exports, the effectiveness of these measures will depend on the European Union's ability to act quickly and consistently. The European Union Anti-Coercion Instrument provides a response framework, but its effectiveness is hampered by procedural delays and the need for widespread support from member states. Thank you for following us.